NASCAR Xfinity Series race officially concluded from Pocono Raceway, and we see a lot of crashes, a lot of cautions, a lot of wrecks, and a lot of chaos, and Connor Zilisch comes off the final corner and picks up his second win in 2025 and his first ever oval victory in NASCAR's top three divisions. What's going on, guys? This is Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Xfinity Series race in Pocono Speedway, the Explorer of the Pocono Mountains 250. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So, let's begin by talking about the race winner of this event, and that is Connor Zilisch. This, like I mentioned, is Connor Zilisch's first ever win on an oval in NASCAR's top three divisions. And today, Connor Zilisch had an impressive and really strong car throughout the day. He qualified up front inside the top 10, but as the day progressed and went on, Connor Zilisch slowly moved his way up to the front, and he would be one of the three strongest cars in the field. They played strategy throughout the day. Connor Zilisch got a ton of stage points as well. He actually went on to win stage number 2 in this race and the event, and then he would basically be up in a really good position on the restart for stage number 3. Now, with around 30 laps to go in the race, his crew chief, Dale Jr., first time he's ever crew chiefing in an event after, of course, being a legendary owner in Xfinity, and, of course, a great driver as a NASCAR Hall of Famer, Dale Jr. brought him down pit road with around 31 laps to go. Then a few laps later, there would be a caution to come out for Garrett Smithley, and Connor would be able to take the race lead at that point. But on that ensuing restart, Connor Zilisch did not get the best push from Christian Eckes going in the corner, and Connor went up the racetrack a little bit, lost a couple track positions, and Chase Elliott and Justin Allgaier were able to get the track position to move up front and take the race lead. But then a lot of cautions and crashes started happening right behind these guys. He had wreck, I believe, for Kyle Sieg at one point, and then he had another crash that would take place right behind him, I believe, for a couple guys spinning out, including, I believe, Garrett Smithley maybe once again as well. And then we got to the restart a little bit later with those two having the race lead. And then the two guys have been really good all day. Chase Elliott and Justin Allgaier would unfortunately have major mistakes. Going into turn number 1, Justin Allgaier would wash up the racetrack and go up to the track and would force Chase Elliott up the racetrack. They would lose a ton of track position and ton of ground. This would actually give the lead to Jesse Love, while Connor Zilisch would move up to third position. And then the caution would come around 10 laps to go for a spinning Kyle Sieg, which would break the record for the most cautions we've seen in a NASCAR Xfinity Series event. But on the final restart of the race, Jesse Love had Connor Zilisch right behind him with Christian Eckes on the inside. And the outside line, which had been really dominant throughout the restarts, Jesse Love would get a fantastic push from Connor Zilisch and was able to get the race lead. Now, for the first couple laps, Jesse Love was able to hold off Connor Zilisch. Jesse had been having a solid car, and he'd been doing a really good job when it comes to being defensive, doing a fantastic job on that front. But with around 5 laps to go in the race, Connor Zilisch would make his move and would go to the inside, going down the lawn straightaway. Jesse was able to defend for a second, but eventually with 4 laps to go, Connor Zilisch got the great run that he needed and was able to take the race lead from Jesse Love. Now, Jesse Love, throughout the next couple laps near the end, was able to keep up with Connor Zilisch and was doing a really good job. But we knew it was going to be very difficult to pass, especially with a car that had been as good as Connor's and Jesse's car not being as strong as Connor Zilisch's. And as it came to the white flag of the event, Jesse Love was starting to close the gap in just a little bit and was running Connor Zilisch down. But he would run out of time and not get the opportunity to get there in the final corners. As coming off the final corner, Connor Zilisch is able to hold up the hard-charging field and is able to pick up his second Xfinity Series win of 2025, his third career NASCAR Xfinity Series victory, and also his first win on an oval. This is a major deal for Connor Zilisch, because I've been saying this throughout the year so far. Connor Zilisch has had the speed all year so far when it comes to the ovals, but has not been able to get the win. But he's been so close so many times over the last couple oval races where he's been in the position to get it done, and today it finally happened. Of course, he finished second in Charlotte, got beat by William Byron, had a great car in that event after coming back when that 88 car, by the way, won with Kyle Larson at Texas after the injury, of course. And then, of course, at the national race, had one of the strongest cars in the field there and was able to finish second, but not enough. Then he had probably arguably the fastest car in Mexico, but finished fifth despite getting involved in an incident. And today, in this event, Connor Zilisch finally gets it done. He has had a lot of speed this year in this number 88 car. A lot of weeks, in my opinion, he's been one of the few guys that's been able to keep up with Justin Allgaier on the consistency and the speed. He's been getting faster throughout the year as well, and this is a major win for Connor Zilisch. This also is a major win for Dale Jr., because now Dale Jr. has won as a car owner, a crew chief, and now a driver as well. I don't know how many people can say that in NASCAR, where they've been able to win as an owner, a driver, and a crew chief in their careers. That's honestly incredible that for Dale Jr.'s first ever time crew chiefing a car, he was able to get it done. Congratulations to Dale Jr. on that. Jr.'s pretty much done everything you can at this point. Good to see him go out there and get the win as a crew chief. I think he's only the 5th driver owner who's a crew chief ever to do that, so pretty impressive for that to get done. But going back to Connor Zilisch, massive deal for him to get that first win on an oval. And you talk about this, we've been wanting to see him win on ovals because we know he's a good road course racer, one of the best road course racers we've seen in many, many years. But to come out here and win on an oval is super impressive. This kind of race is like a road course. I don't think this is going to be the last time we're going to see him win on an oval. I think that he's going to win a lot of races on ovals this year and just continues to be very, very impressive. So congratulations to Connor Zilisch on picking up a well-deserved win and well-deserved victory. Good to see him get it done here today at Pocono. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results, give my score and thoughts on today's race. So Connor Zilisch picks up the win. Jesse Love finishes second. A great run for Jesse Love. I thought he was going to have a chance and opportunity to get Connor Zilisch at the end, but a great run for Jesse. He didn't qualify that well. They did some strategy. They got some good points today as well. Great run for Jesse Love. He finishes second. Christian Eckes finishes third. Back-to-back top 5 runs for the number 16 team. This 16 team has been up and down throughout the year so far, so good to see Christian Eckes finish inside the top 5. They've had some decent pace and speed, just bad luck. Today was a great run for Eckes. He finishes third. Chase Elliott finished fourth. Chase Elliott, I think, might have led the most laps in the race today, but unfortunately, that restart that Justin Allgaier floundered, unfortunately, cost Chase Elliott a chance and opportunity to get the win. He charged his way back up to the front to get up to 4th position, but I honestly think Chase Elliott maybe should have won this race, but I think the 17.7 and the 88 were equal at this point, so good run for Elliott, but not enough to get it done, but he finishes in 4th. Ryan Sieg finishes 5th. He had a great run today. Ran top 5 a lot of this race. Showed some really great speed, especially on the longer run. Didn't have anything go wrong today. It was one of the best runs Ryan Sieg has had all year. Good to see him finish in the top 5. Carson Qual finished 6th. He ran top 10, top 15 most of the day. Didn't have the overall pace and grip to be a massive threat and contender for the victory today, but was still very, very solid nonetheless. He finishes 6th. Good run for Carson Quaffle. Sam Mayer finished 7th. Decent day for him. Didn't have the overall speed to contend for the victory, but a solid top 10 run for the driver of the 41 car. Not a bad day for him. Sammy Sim finishes 8th. Sammy Sim had a decent day overall. Was on the first couple rows on the final restart, but lost a lot of track position at the end that cost him a shot at a great win. So today was a solid day for Sammy. He finishes 8th. Taylor Gray finished 9th. He had one of the fastest cars, especially on the long run today, but lost some track position, especially on the restarts, and dropped back quite a bit. He finished 9th. And Justin Allgaier finished 10th. I want to talk about that incident real quick with Justin Allgaier. That was a big error by Justin Allgaier going in the corner. If Justin Allgaier is able to clear Chase Elliott, I think Justin Allgaier likely wins this race because that 7 car, like I mentioned, was really, really good. But he made that mistake in the corner. Chase is probably not going to be really happy to him for that. That's another race where Allgaier's had a really good opportunity to go to victory lane, and it's been squandered. He's had 3 wins, but man, he probably should have more, and this one was self-influence, and it's unfortunately self-inflicted for Justin Allgaier to not go to victory lane. Jed Burton finished 11th. Solid day for Jed Burton. Continues to be very consistent. This 2017 doesn't have the overall pace and speed every week, but they come in and get really good finishes and get decent stage points as well, so a decent day for Jed Burton. Jeremy Clemens finished 12th. Not a bad day for him. Anthony Alfredo finished 13th. One of the better finishes he's had this year. Gets a top 15. Harrison Burton finished 14th. They had to make an engine change before the green flag drop and had to start at the rear of the field. Does come home with a top 15. Continues to do a lot better than Haley Deegan did in that car. So good to see Harrison continue to have solid runs. He finished 14th. Josh Williams finished in 15th. Brendan Poole finished in 16th. Dean Thompson, who caused one of the late race incidents with Ryan Ellis, Ryan Ellis backed into the outside wall and got a lot of damage on his car. He finished 17th. Brandon Jones finished 18th. Brandon Jones was caught up in the biggest wreck of the day on, I think, the early stages of stage number 1 or stage number 2. There's a big wreck that happened going down into turn number 3 into the tunnel turn. Brandon Jones got looser. I think it was Brandon Jones that got sideways and loose going in the corner. This caused a chain reaction. Daniel Dye hit the inside wall very, very hard. Austin Hill got a lot of damage on the right rear of that car as well. And I believe another car would end up getting collected in that crash as well. So top brave for all those guys that got caught up in the big incident and wreck. Brandon does get a top 20. He did get some stage points, which will kind of salvage the day a little bit for him, but he does finish 18th. Matt DiBenedetto finished 19th. Not a bad day for him. Mason Massey finished 20th. Williams Walsh finished 21st. He had a really good run going early in this race and did get a couple stage points, but they just haven't had the pace and speed on the longer runs, and I think they had bad pit stops among other things that cost him a shot at a great finish, but just not the best day. And he actually got caught up in that big wreck too, so he did get damaged, so I'll defend him on that front, but continues to struggle in the Xfinity Series this year. Parker Retzlaff finished 22nd, finally gets to finish out inside the top 35 for the first time in like 3 or 4 weeks, so good to see Parker at least get an okay finish. Josh Wielicki finished in 23rd. William Honeyman was spun out got turned by Mason Massey. He finished 24th. Kyle Sieg, who unfortunately spun out to bring the last caution out, he finished 25th. Garrett Smithley spun out, finished 26th. Logan Bearden finished 27th. Nick Sanchez finished 20th. Nick Sanchez had a really, really unfortunate crash that happened in stage number 3. Nick Sanchez got a lot of damage on the car, spun out, hit the inside wall pretty hard. Sheldon Creed got collected in that crash. Tough break for Sanchez, who legitimately had a top 5 run going. He did get a lot of stage points today, which will salvage a day a little bit, but I believe he goes farther below the cutoff line because of a bad run today. Blaine Perkins finished 29th. Patrick Emerling finishes in 30th. Daniel Dye got caught up in multiple incidents in this race today. He finished in 31st. Got caught up in that other incident as well on the inside. Ryan Ellis, who crashed, finished in 32nd. Dawson Crane finished 33rd. Carson Ware finished 34th. Austin Hill finished 35th. Austin Hill didn't have the overall speed to begin with, and then got caught up in that big crash with Brandon Jones, Daniel Dye, and William Sawalch. He finished 35th because of that. Sheldon Creed finished 36th, got a lot of damage. Sheldon was actually having an okay day today, but just didn't have the overall speed, and you look at the speed that that car had last year with Cole Custer. Not the best day for Sheldon Creed. He finished in 36th. Chris Wright, I think, had some issues, finished 37th, and finishing last in 38th is Justin Bonsignor. Unfortunately for Justin Bonsignor, he unfortunately blew the engine early in this race, brought out the second caution of the race around lap number 10 of the event. Tough break for Justin, who actually had a decent qualifying run. I think with all the chaos we had, he probably could have gotten the top 10, but unfortunately the engine let go at the end of this race. So let's talk about the overall race as a whole. I'm going to give my score and thoughts on today's race. This race was very, very, very chaotic today. A lot of crashes. The record, by the way, for the most yellows we have ever seen in Xfinity Series race at Pocono. 10 cautions. I think we had around 40 to 41 laps under yellow. So this race never really had any rhythm to begin with, and it was really tough to tell who was the fastest car in this event. I think the 3 strongest cars all day were Chase Elliott, Justin Allgaier, Connor Zilisch. I think if one of those 3 would have won the race today, like it actually ended up happening today, they would have been deserving. I think those are the 3 best cars, and if one of those guys got up front like Connor Zilisch did, they were going to be the car to beat. It was difficult to pass in today's race as well, though I will say it was not as bad as like cup practice was from what I saw. You could make moves if you had fresher tires, so it made the race a little bit better, at least in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race yesterday. But Pocono so far this weekend has not really set the world on fire, and I think with the lack of rhythm in today's race as well, it was a little bit unexciting if I'm going to be honest. So because of that, and because there's so many cautions, so many wrecks, I feel like that because you had a lot of guys from the Truck Series last year move up to Xfinity this year, in the last couple of years especially, you've had more wrecks, you've had more carnage and more incidents, and it makes some of these races less enjoyable to watch. I just wish we could have less of these wreck fests happening in the Xfinity Series. And overall today, the product just wasn't the most exciting. It wasn't awful by any stretch of imagination, and he had a really compelling finish, which made the race a little better, probably made it go up a little bit. But because of that, my score of today's Xfinity Series race is probably going to be about a 6 out of 10 at best. It was a little better than the Truck Series race. I've actually drawn my score of the truck race down to a 5 out of 10. I think the truck race was not that good, one of the worst truck races we've seen of the year. This race was slightly better, but not really that great. In my opinion, my score of today's Xfinity Series race is going to be a 6 out of 10. So, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Pocono. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below in the comments, and congratulate Connor Zilisch on picking up the win, and also congratulate Dale Jr. on winning as a crew chief now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have the starting lineup video for the NASCAR Cup Series race at Pocono, and we're also going to have the Cup review from Pocono as well. And someone gets disqualified or Shane Van Gisbergen runs well, we'll do a video on him. Then Monday, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. And then we're also on Tuesday, we're going to have the Truck Series race picks for Lime Rock, and we're also going to have the in-season bracket challenge, and we do my predictions on the in-season tournament as well, and how I think things are going to go for the next 5 races on TNT's portion of the season. We got a lot of content coming out. People like Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Cletus McFarland, Dodge Ram, Eric Armrold, Chandler Smith, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, among other people in the industry, like other things like the loss between 25 Front Row and Junior Motorsports as well. We got a lot of fun content dropping really soon that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.